Hey everybody, Greg Rice here, not in the bucket, and we have quite a few special guests today, starting with the most important, Mr. Andrew,
yeah, or AJ.
last name?
Pecukonis.
Pecukonis, I never know how to say
You'll
it.
never know.
Pecukonis, tomatoes, and we have Cuckoo and Chi-Chi, who wanted to join us in today's interview. So AJ and I have been working together for 7-8 years.
Maybe 2019, I think it was.
Okay.
I remember distinctly because I actually just moved back from across the country.
Okay.
And when I came back, I was deciding what to do, and Emilio helped really actually decide to like almost push me into starting my own business type of thing instead of getting a job. And
interesting. I didn't know that. Shout out to Emilio.
Yeah, I've been working with him for 9 years.
Wow.
So he's the man.
I love Emilio.
Yep.
He's such a, we were talking this morning actually, I was at the gym, and he was saying that people today, he's a pusher. Like he likes to encourage people and push people towards, you know, whatever their destiny may be. But most people take that as, oh, don't do that to me. You know, it's offensive. But you and me have both taken his encouragement positively, and it's a good thing.
Yeah, and he just turned 40.
Yeah.
So happy birthday, Emilio. That's a big milestone.
40 years young.
Yes.
The guy works 8 days a week. I don't know how he does it. So tell me about maybe before Clear Signal Productions. What were you doing? What were you not doing?
Yeah, so I went to college in North Central Massachusetts, Fitchburg State University.
Oh.
It was actually one of the top 10 video production schools in the country.
I applied there.
So
I didn't go there though.
My mom also went there, so that was kind of like a
Gotcha.
And it was, you know, in school and in-state affordable type of thing.
Yeah.
So then afterwards, I graduated and moved to San Diego. Went out with my girlfriend at the time. We actually drove across the country, just packed up my Honda Civic and just
shipped it.
Yep, just drove it all the way there. And the AC broke sometime in West Virginia.
Wow.
So crossing the Midwest when it was like 100 degrees was pretty miserable. But while I was there, I worked for a TV station named One America News.
Oh, I know them.
Yep.
They're since shut down, right? Or are they closed?
I'm not sure.
I
haven't, but I knew they were getting in hot water for various things. And I was only there for like 6 months. I could see that it wasn't the type of like lifestyle. And I was working a 3 to noon shift.
What were you doing there?
I was a PA as well as a floor director for the TV talk shows.
Interesting.
So I don't know if you know Tommy Lahren.
Yeah.
So
she's on Fox News.
When she started at One American News, and I was her first floor director actually.
Oh wow.
So I got to know her pretty well, and that's cool. So there's just some of the things that you learn in the industry. Yeah, I learned really quickly in the television industry that's not what I wanted.
How come?
Fast paced, not a lot of growth either. The pay was pretty bad. When I was growing up, I actually wanted to be a weatherman, so I always thought I was destined for TV. But when I got more and more involved in it, it's just like, no, that's like a completely different side that I'm not prepared for. And obviously you need to go to meteorology school. And
gotcha.
All that,
but you could always be wrong in that business. Come here. And you never get called out for it.
That's true.
You guys got to chill. So you're in San Diego, and then you say enough with the West Coast?
So while I was in San Diego, I worked there for 6 months, the TV station. And then I worked for this guy named Ron Quintero, who is actually the reason I met Emilio. It's because he had a company that produced real estate radio shows throughout the country. And so he was kind of like the person who would organize the contracts, and then we would produce videos and stuff for them. And that's kind of how I got started in the podcast radio show space when it came to like editing clips and stuff like that. So I worked there for maybe a year and a half or so.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Hey.
Careful. No,
come on.
Messing up the camera.
You guys can't sit still. You're going to go out here. So San Diego, you're done with One America News.
Yep.
What makes you want to come back to the East Coast?
So what made me come back to the East Coast was a lot of different kind of life situations. I became single while I was out there. I I worked for a guy named Ron Quintero who did real estate radio shows. So I worked with him for about a year and a half, and then the company went under suddenly. And I was kind of like caught off guard.
And you were working there?
I was working for him.
Okay.
And so after that, I actually got a job at a YouTube channel called Totally TV.
Okay.
It was a YouTube channel for Disney princesses and that kind of thing, where they would do like the challenges and they would do scenes. But it had like 4 million subscribers. So this is a big YouTube channel. Yeah. So I got a lot of experience there doing all sorts of different things when it came to shooting and editing. So it was a cool experience, but I had to drive 80 miles a day on California highways.
One way?
Both ways.
Oh, okay.
But it was
traffic.
It was 3 hours.
Wazoo.
It was 3 hours to get there and back. So after a while, I got sick of that, especially when he decided to move the studio up to LA, which I was not going to move to LA for. And then things kind of just fell apart from there. There was a lot of headbutting between the head guy and then a lot of producers and stuff. So I just kind of decided that I wanted to be back closer to my family, closer to my friends. I didn't realize how hard it was going to be to like make new friends in a city, especially that's as transient as San Diego, where there's people constantly moving in and out. A lot of people who aren't even from there. So it was a very cool experience. I'm glad that I did it, but we always have that like regret in your mind, like maybe if I didn't do this, how would I be, and that type of thing. So
do you have regret?
I can't say I should. I shouldn't have any regret. I did everything I could while I was out there to try to make it work, and then it just
didn't.
Just, sometimes it's not meant to be. Sometimes you're meant to come back to a certain spot, and once I came back here, it just felt right. And I was much happier. And then being with the parents, my parents are the best. So
that's awesome.
That was really a big motivator too.
Yeah. You only get one set of them.
Yeah, exactly.
My mom is, she's in the penalty box right now. My dad is probably my best friend. And that usually doesn't work out that way. So I get that. And going to the West Coast is kind of an East Coast thing, right? Like, I'm going to go to the West Coast for music, for movies, for video production. So I don't think you should have regret, because most people would say, oh, I could have went to the West Coast. I wish I went. And you went there, you experienced it, you dealt with loss, you dealt with some, unsuccessful ventures, but then you took that experience, put it in your tool belt, and said, I'm going back.
Yeah.
And now how old are you?
I'm 32.
Yeah. So you figured out stuff that most people never figure out.
It's funny because my older brother also has a business. So it's like the guys in our family are kind of just entrepreneurial by design. So
yeah.
I always noticed that when I was working for somebody else, like I had like the job and the constraints of it, I felt so much less happy.
Yes.
So much less happy. And then I couldn't get the joy I wanted to out of what I was doing. So that was sucking the fun out of life, So
do you feel now with, being in charge of your own ship and obviously the different clients you have, that you're fulfilled?
More fulfilled. There's always like the money equation, making that work, obviously. Sure. And then also purpose. You want to do something that you feel like is actually making a difference.
That's right.
I feel like that's a lot of people in our generation especially struggle with that.
Yep.
They just kind of, for instance, like people who graduated with my degree, a video production degree, it's like 85% don't actually get a job in the industry.
Really?
Because it's just, there's not that many jobs. It's super competitive. Right. And unless you're going to go out to a place like LA.
Right. The opportunities are sparse.
Especially around here. So that's why I was glad that I did go out there, get that experience, get the West Coast experience, and then bring it back. And then, use that to build myself up instead of someone else. Yeah.
And then work for a business that you don't know, like you said, the head guys are bickering, or there's money problems, or you're at a network and the network is not even stable, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So it's a very, I don't want to say fly by night, but just unpredictable business.
High turnover as well.
High turnover.
Yeah.
Very little loyalty. Ultimately, it's all about the person on the camera, people don't appreciate what goes into that person. And that person doesn't even usually know and appreciate all the back end, right?
Yeah, for the most part. I just like to say that I'm a magician in an essence, because like when you're a video editor, you can kind of chop up a certain person's story in any sort of way to tell it.
Right.
I remember one of the more influential things that I saw when I was in high school was the editor of Star Trek movie, when it was coming out at the time, came in, and he showed us 2 different edits of the same scene, edited differently, to show how a lot of the same shots, a lot of the same effects can be completely different stories.
Got you.
So like just depending on how you cut, where you cut, how fast the cuts are, it can really tell a story by itself. So that was something that I always kind of stuck with me. And I would say video editing is probably like my biggest passion. It's what I get the most joy out of.
I mean, you see politics, the way they cut videos, it's the same interview with somebody. They said the same thing. And then one network cuts it this way, the other network cuts it that way, and then you add in some of the opinion of the, the host of the show, and it's a completely different spin. Same
out
content.
of the same words.
Same words.
Yep.
So what do you think about the future of Clear Signal? Like you've built your base, you've been here now, back here for 5 years. What does the next 5 years look like? What do you hope to achieve? Things like that.
So beginning of next year, I'm going to be really, I'm going to be trying to dive into doing some more real estate stuff. So that way I can get some more of the local business from where I am, because I'm located in Leominster, Massachusetts. I have some connections there with some realtors as well. I seem to have connections with realtors
Not a bad
throughout the
connection
country.
to have.
Not at all. They're great connectors in general.
They're the best.
Yeah, so being able to get into the real estate listing side, and then using that to also be like, hey, this is also what I can do for you, and help build, their brand, their reputation, as well as help market their listings and stuff. I think that would be a great way to be able to expand.
And it's consistent for you. It's something that, you get with a good real estate company. They get X amount of listings every year.
Exactly.
And it's, it's just something you can rely on.
It's something, you just got to get your foot in the door.
Exactly.
You got to get someone's attention. You have to get the right person's attention as well, because you can look up a real estate company and there could be like 700 realtors on like just their page or whatever. But it's like, which are the 5 that they're actually going to be, the big producers, the one who actually have the listings and that type of thing.
How about staffing? Do you plan on growing? Like, what do you have for staff now?
Yeah.
What do you plan for staff in the future?
Right now it's just me. But I'm a one-man band.
Wow.
But,
he is phenomenal. I mean, you've seen my videos. We've probably made, I don't know, how many videos? 500 videos for us?
Oh, yeah.
Maybe more.
Thousands of videos for
Emilio alone.
for sure, yeah.
So check out his content. He is a magician. I didn't know it's just you.
Yeah.
I thought you had some Indian guys in the back or something.
No. Once I'm able to get a foothold into doing some real estate stuff, that's when I can help.
Yep.
I can bring in a second shooter, start delegating that type of thing. And then I can also figure out what's going to be what I want to do the most as well. So I'm looking forward to it. It should be a fun next year for me.
And how about least favorite things? What do you not like to do?
My least favorite thing is script writing. If somebody asks, what do I say? I say, I don't know. What do you, like, what's your message that you want people...
People ask you that?
All the time. They're like, how should I say this? What should I say? And it's just like, I'm not you. I don't know exactly what you do. I have a general idea, and I'm going to try to help you tell your story, but I'm not going to be able to say, this is exactly how you need to say it, because this is the formula to get it to go viral or whatever it is. So I just usually, it's all about being yourself.
Yeah.
Because that's how people are going to see you when they meet you for that first time. Because ideally, use the video to get in front of somebody. They can see you, they can hear your voice, they can see your mannerisms, and then when they meet you in person, it's not a surprise, and it feels more of like a warm welcome than it does like a cold.
Yeah, like, I get what you're saying. And one thing I've noticed is over the years, we've almost developed this working relationship of, my humor, you know when I'm serious, my goals and the way I get my message across. So the videos now, I don't even have to tell you anything. I just send them the raw file, and I'll put a note sometime like, hey, include this website or this chart or something just to supplement the point. But that's something that takes time to build. And I think a lot of people, when they hire somebody like yourself, they almost feel like you should know exactly how they want it and how come it's this way and why did you do that. And so my advice is take time and let that relationship build. Anything else on that topic that you want to add?
On things I don't like?
Well, like building that relationship with somebody as far as how that goes, and it takes time to kind of get your groove.
Yeah, so it's really important, especially if you're starting something that you actually want to continue doing, because there's a lot of people that I do that are just like, I just want one video about my gym, for instance, like at Anytime Fitness, and then thanks, I'll see you later type of thing, and they don't need more than that.
Yep.
But for when it comes to like the realtor space and the business space, that's definitely something that people should be more aware of, how video can be useful, especially when you're searching online for something, and the more stuff that pops up that's relevant to you, whether it be a video or a blog or your website, social media, is going to be better for your SEO. That's the biggest thing for me, is trying to quantify that. That's probably another thing I struggle with the most, is people will be like, thanks for this video, looks great, but what do I do with it? How does it help me?
Right.
And to me, it's just kind of like, you can use it however you would like, but it's only going to do as much as you're willing to do for it. I really do like a lot of what I do, though. I don't have any complaints.
That's awesome.
For the most part. But I would say, like, that's the one thing where it's, people ask me, what do I say? And it's just like,
whatever you want.
Yeah. Say what you would say to somebody if you were introducing, or if you're trying to make your pitch to somebody, or like however you want to sound. But it really is just about the message you want to have the viewers take away.
You're not a producer, you're an editor. So like, give me the data and then I'll dress it up.
Exactly.
You're not the one that's creating the data, like, oh, you got to hit these points, go. That's backwards. So yeah, I've never asked you what to say, so that's why it's kind of like foreign to me. But also, I've been obviously I started my own little thing, a little podcast, Greg Talks, that AJ's been producing. And one thing that we're starting to do a little bit more of are the reels.
Yes.
And the reels, I think, are a good way to capture attention, which is the hottest commodity right now.
Yeah.
Getting attention from people is very difficult.
Yep.
So if you can capture attention, then you could steer it towards the destination. So back to your point of, oh, I got this video, what do I do with it? Well, all right, I got you on the reel. I have your interest, I have your intrigue, or maybe not. If you want more of this, go here, right?
Exactly.
My link's in my bio, right? Or my website, or whatever it is. So nowadays, you almost need a video before the video.
You need a video promoting your videos.
Exactly.
Yes. And it's, Reels, Shorts, TikToks, those are like excellent for exposure. That's right. Really excellent. The only issue really is like, are they empty views? That's really the biggest thing.
Right.
So that's also
Right.
So when I like start a podcast with somebody, and I'm going to make them like that long format, the full interview, for instance, and then some reels for it, they don't know what to do with the reels, or like what the purpose is, and they don't think about how it all kind of connects. Reels are excellent when it comes to getting the word out, getting your name out, getting what you're doing out. But it's really, the hardest thing is getting people to kind of connect from one to another, especially when it's just a scroll society where it's like, oh, well, let me watch that reel for 20 seconds, next reel for 20 seconds, and all of that. So that's really the biggest thing. But the way you can utilize video nowadays is tremendous. 100%. There's so many different ways to utilize it. It doesn't have to just be one specific thing.
Yeah, and I think too with reels, you got one good reel, all right, you're probably going to need 1,000 before people finally subscribe to your page or search for you. So you have to and Emilio taught me this, people trust consistency.
Exactly.
So if you're consistently putting out a similar product all the time, eventually you get noticed, and eventually it attracts like-minded people.
Right.
You can't expect to like go viral and make a splash with 1 or 2 or 3 videos. People already forgot that.
Yeah, I was actually talking to Kevin Kearns the other day about this.
Oh yeah, Kevin's good.
Yeah.
Do you do his video?
Yep, I do.
I loved it.
Yeah.
I've seen you guys in, I think I saw one, it was like, was it a bank or something that you guys did? Or like, it was a bunch of women.
It was it was Semper Home Loans.
Semper Home Loans.
It was a self-defense course.
Yes.
I've done a couple of
That
those
was
for
good.
him. Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, those are fun to do.
Yeah.
Especially because you can get some really cool slow-mo shots and
Yes.
all of that. So that's fun stuff
Those are
to
cool.
do.
And it impacts. It's like 60 seconds and it's like, wow. Like you're really intrigued by that.
Yeah, he uses video tremendously. He does a great job with utilizing it to really promote his message and like what he believes in. And you could see the passion. But I was talking to him the other day, and I was talking and saying, you could have a viral video, get 1 million followers from it, but what do you get from those?
That's right.
And then say you post another one, it gets 10 views, but you have 1 million followers. It's just like, you got to figure out like what is actually, what are you trying to accomplish with your videos? So a lot of people just say, I want views because that's how I can justify that I'm paying you to do this, or I know that it's working to a certain extent, but it's really just about like what your goals are with the video. And a lot of people is just, if I can get 1 client from this video, it easily pays what I do. Yeah.
That's
whether
right.
it be like a nutritionist or anything like that,
Yeah.
And that's what I like to kind of push people, is be like, you just need 1 or 2 extra from this, and then you can see the benefit immediately.
100%. I mean, and what's the alternative? You're going to write blogs? Like, what are you going to do?
Does anybody read anyways nowadays?
I don't think people can read, to be honest. It's like people need to be spoon-fed information quickly, and they don't want to be informed anymore. They want to be entertained.
Yeah. And that's the other part too.
That's the difference. It's like you could be the smartest guy in the room, smartest girl in the room, know your trade up and down, but you could be the most boring person on camera, and that you need both now. You need to be informative but also entertaining. So I'm trying to think of a good example of somebody that's that way, but maybe a favorite teacher you had in school that would get the message across but make it interactive and fun, or deliver it in a way that you're like, so you need that too, and that's something you really can't teach people. And you can dress up videos as much as you want, but vanilla is still vanilla sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. It's all about being engaging.
Yeah.
Engaging and authentic when you produce your videos, and then that's how you'll attract the right type of people.
Yeah. And you don't want to attract everybody.
No.
That's something that I'm learning is like, my stuff is, I think it's very boutique and very niche. I don't want to attract the massive audience. That's not me. I'm attracting a very select crowd and people that are, like I said, like-minded, and you help me do that. I'm not trying to attract a 10-year-old girl and an 8-year-old guy and everybody in between. No.
It's impossible.
And it's impossible too. But you don't want too much too soon either. You don't want to be a sensation, because those flash in the pan, they burn out.
Yes.
So slow burn is good.
Consistency, like you said. Yep.
Interesting. Well, anything else you want to get across to our friends here?
If you haven't thought about using video before for your business, for your cause, for an event even, you should seriously consider it, because it's a tremendous way to let people know that a thing has occurred, and to give them the experience of what it was. And it's the best way to tell a story without having you sitting next to them telling them what it was about. And a lot of the time people would rather watch a video than have somebody tell me about what it was. They would rather see it.
That's right. So, and wherever there's a person, there can be a camera. So this goes to government. You can do government events. You can do private sector events. You can do nonprofit events. I mean, anywhere there's a body, there's a story.
Exactly.
And you're open to that, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Doesn't matter. Cool. Well, how do you get in touch with AJ these days?
You go to my website, clearsignalproductions.com. It's probably the best way. You can see all my video examples there. You can see whether it be my listings, the podcasts, or even I think Kevin's reel. One of his might be up there.
Perfect.
As well. So you go there, or you can feel free to reach out, 978-877-1555. Call or text, and I'll be sure to get back to you as soon as I can.
Awesome. And if you need a testimonial from me, from Emilio, happy to do that. So, again, AJ, thank you.
Thank you, Greg.
And any questions for me or AJ, comments below. We'll get right back to you. Once again, Greg Rice, AJ
Pecukonis.
AJP. We're going to call him AJP. Here, not in the bucket. Your property managed.